It's going to feel like chapter 4 is going to take us forever, okay? Because today is November 1st. You have an online assignment today. You have a book assignment Tuesday, a book assignment Wednesday. You have a worksheet on Thursday, online on Friday. On Monday, we're going to do a practice, and on Tuesday, you're going to take a quiz. Wednesday, we're going to do an in-class activity. Thursday, you don't have school for Veterans Day. Friday, we're going to continue that activity. Then you have a full week, which I think we'll get through chapter 4. My plan is that your chapter 4 test is on the 19th, but I'm not sure. Because then you only have 2 days, and it's Thanksgiving. So November is a quick and long month all at the same time. You have weird breaks in there, which puts kind of a weird break in what we're doing. But I want you to have your quiz next Tuesday before we have school, not have school, have school, not have school. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, we will also cover chapter 5 before you leave for winter break. When you come back, we'll study for your semester that we talked about the other day. Okay, so just kind of a heads up of where we are. I'll get you a note sheet here. Okay, chapter 3, we talked about graphing using x-intercepts and y-intercepts. And some of you are like, but Ms. Hoff, we know how to graph using the slope and the y-intercept. And I said, I know, we just haven't gotten there yet. So we're going to get there this chapter. Chapter 4 is about linear equations. And we're going to look at different ways that we can graph, different ways we can write equations, different ways that we can represent equations in different formats. So last chapter we studied standard form, which seemed like an eternity ago. So I'm going to help you out with this. Standard form for the equation of the line is ax plus by equals c. And remember, a, b, and c are like numbers, right? A and b are coefficients on x and y. C was the constant, the number without the variable. And there were 3 rules. No fractions. X and y on one side. C is on the other. And A must be positive. Honestly, standard form sucks, other than no fractions, because we hate fractions. But truthfully, it doesn't do anything for us. Standard form is the least used form, I would say. When you look at it, you cannot pull any information from it. But it's a format, and we need to know what it means, where it comes from. So we're going to learn today the new form, which is not really a new form. You've done this before, called slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. This is probably the most common equation of a line. And if you ask Mr. Bisbee any math question, guaranteed he will give you the response, y equals mx plus b. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Things to note, y is by itself, yes? In order to be in slope-intercept form, y needs to be by itself and have a positive 1 coefficient. Then the 2 important pieces that we need to know is m is your slope, b is the y-intercept. As long as y is by itself, you can just look at it. M is the coefficient of x, that's your slope. B is your constant, the number without a variable is your y-intercept. Okay? Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -2. Then graph the equation. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. You're going to replace m, you're going to replace b. What are you replacing m with? 3/4. What are you replacing b with? -2. So your equation would read y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Don't write plus a negative, right? That gets messy. -2. So there's the equation. Okay. Now, how do I graph it? Plot the y-intercept. Plot the y-intercept. What's the y-intercept for us? -2. -2, the y-intercept. Which one's your y-axis? Up and down. Very good. So we're going to put a point at -2. That's my starting point. Now we're going to, I shouldn't say run, use the slope. And in this one, our slope is 3/4, and slope is rise over run. Which directions could you rise? Or down, technically. And which direction could you run? Right or left. And how do you know if it's up or down or right or left? Negative and positive. So in this case, which directions am I going? Up 3 and right 4. So from your y-intercept, count up 3, right 4, put another dot. Now the beauty of Alex is 2 points, it draws a great line for you, right? If you're doing this on paper, I would put as many points as you can. Up 3, right 4. Question? How could I ever get a point down here? Do the opposite of both. Make sure you do the opposite of both. So instead of up 3, you could go down 3. Instead of right 4, you could go left 4. Now, again, on Alex, 2 points is all you really need, right? But there are times that you can't plot what you want to on Alex because there's not enough space. And then Alex will do the beautiful thing of drawing a line way better than Miss Hoff just drew right there. I will tell you that this quiz and test I have slated to be on Alex just because of the fact there's a ton of graphing on it. Okay? On your own. Write me an equation in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of -1/2 and a y-intercept of 3. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line with a slope of -1/2 and a y-intercept of 3. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Maddox, what'd you write?
Y equals -1/2 x plus 3.
Perfect. When you type this into Alex, make sure that your x is next to the 1/2. If it's in the denominator, it will count it wrong. Yes? Okay. Just a heads up there. Good so far?
Yeah.
Maya, y equals mx plus b. Sound familiar? Okay. I'll get you the first half in a minute. Okay. Write an equation. Oh, no, not right. Maybe I should read properly. When an equation is not written in slope-intercept form, it may be easier to rewrite it before graphing. So here's that standard form that we talked about. Like, standard form does nothing for us. Whereas if I was in y equals mx plus b, I could say, here's your slope, here's your y-intercept. How do I know an equation's in slope-intercept form?
Y equals.
Y equals. Y is by itself. Okay? Walk me through how I would ever get y by itself if I start with 3x plus 2y equals 6. Say it again. Add 3x. Subtract 3x. Sorry. Bless you. 2y equals. Miss Hoff's a little crazy. I know you guys have already figured that out. But I really like when things are in y equals mx plus b. So the psycho part of me makes my -3x go first. Is that okay? So I would write -3x plus 6. Question? What if you wrote 6 minus 3x? Are you wrong?
No.
It would still work. Am I good? Am I in slope-intercept form?
No.
What do I need to do? Now, when you divide by 2, divide everything by 2. Both your x term as well as your constant. So you wind up with y equals -3/2 x plus 3. Now I'm in slope-intercept form. Now, how do I graph that? Plot your y-intercept, which is at 3. I know your graphs aren't great. Make it as close as you can. Then we need to use our slope. Our slope is -3/2. So what does that tell me to do? Go down 3 and right 2. Why right? Yeah, if I go down and to the left, I have a negative and a negative, which really is a positive. So my negative, you only have one negative, so make sure you're cautious of that. So from your y-intercept, we go down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2, and you could continue. Now, one of the easiest things to do, look at your slope. Your slope is negative. What does that tell you about your line? It should be falling as you move to the right. One of the simplest things to do is my graph falling or is my graph rising? Try the one on the right on your own. Graph 3x minus 4y equals 12. Find your slope and your y-intercept first. It will make it easier for you. If I had to guess, most of you are okay to start with. You subtracted 3x to the other side. Am I right? No. What should you have done then? Divide by a -4. So you wind up with y equals 3/4 x minus 3. 3/4 x minus 3. So I start at -3, and how do I move? Up 3 and right 4. Very good. Positive 12 divided by that -4. That negative will get you. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, they totally remember on the slope. And then don't forget on your y-intercept. Good there? Is this ringing a bell? Been there, done this? Yes. Okay, good. You should have. There are times that you need to write the equation when given a graph. To do this, locate the y-intercept. Locate the y-intercept, and then use your rise and run to find another point on the graph. Then write the equation in slope-intercept form. Write the equations of the lines shown below. One on the left, what is my y-intercept? +1. My y-intercept is at +1. Now, find another point, preferably to the right of your y-intercept. I would say here your x-intercept, yes? Yeah. Now, for your slope, bless you, remember you're talking rise over run. You always start on the left and work your way to the right. So we're starting at the y-intercept, and we need to rise or run to get to the red point. Sorry, we need to go up or down to get to the red point. We need to go down how many? 1. And left or right? Right how many? 3. Why do you think those direction words are so important? Very good. That's negative or positive. Down 1 would give you -1. Right 3 would give you a +3. Can you simplify that? The reason I say write the words is so that you don't forget the signs. That is what I have. Here's when you would go left. Miss Hoff always tells you to start on the left and go to the right. Some people don't always listen to Miss Hoff, and they start on the right and they go to the left. And if you do it correctly, you'll still get it right. But to avoid that, I just tell people start on to the left and work your way to the right. So what would my equation be for this problem? Y equals -1/3 x plus 1. The negative sign. Technically, could it be in the top? Could it be in the bottom? Could it be out front? Could it be top and bottom? No. Should you really put it in the bottom? No. In the top or out front is the best. Okay? You do the one on the right. Write me the equation for this graph. Y equals 1/4 x minus 1. 1/4 x minus 1. Okay, so the last piece of this is like the interpret piece. What does it mean for a slope to occur? What does that y-intercept mean? So when you can model data by a linear equation, that means there's a constant rate of change. So the constant rate of change represents the slope. The slope happens over and over and over and over. A lot of times you'll see the word per or each. The y-intercept is the point where the value of the independent variable is 0. Or in other words, your starting point, your initial fee, the one-time charge. Before you've done anything, where do you start? So Ruben's putting money into a checking account. Y represents the total amount of money in his account in dollars. X represents the number of weeks that he's been adding money. Suppose X and Y are related by the equation Y equals 350 plus 40X. So they're telling you, here's Ruben's situation. What is my change per week in the amount of money in his account? $40. Positive or negative? Positive. So it's $40. Every week he's adding $40. What was the starting amount? $350. Before the week started, he had $350 in there already. Now, do I think that you're going to have a ton of work to show on this? I don't. I think it's going to be little things of like down 1, right 3. But is there still enough that you could turn something in? Yes. Do you have to graph the line on your piece of paper? No. Okay, I'm okay with that. I got more paper, so we actually do have some. 4-1 online is due at 8 a.m. tomorrow.